I'm Erica. I am in recovery. I have almost 2.5 years clean. I was a teen mom and I got introduced to opiates at a very early age, 16. And then I was like started dibble dabble with other things, but I stopped for a long time. I didn't start the hardcore drugs till about 25, and at that time, I didn't know nothing about recovery, treatment, none of that. So I got addicted to pills really bad. I was very dependent on the opiates. Then I got introduced to crack cocaine, which I felt that I was like the exception of the rule. Like I wasn't gonna be like the rest of them, and like I'm attractive, I'm gonna make this look good and whatever. So like that was a cognitive distortion all the way around the board. So I put the opiates down, got into crack cocaine and tried to hide it for a long time. My kids will leave for the summer, so like I knew like, okay, this is my time to just get it out of my system all summer. Then when school starts back, I'll be back to being a great mom again, and that did not happen. So in order to feed my habit, I would steal. I learned how to steal from stores. I hung around with a group of girls who didn't have an addiction, but they just did it. So I learned from that, in and out of jails, and I didn't know nothing about treatment at this point either. So that went on from 25 through maybe 28, 29. And then, so then I got introduced to heroin. I was in the hospital, in and out of jail. Then I got introduced to rehab. So I was forced into rehab. And at that point, I'm like, man, I don't want to be here. I hated it. I was so defiant towards it. I'd go get 30 days and I got 30 days clean, mom. And she's like, good, they'd praise me. And now that I look back at it, it just didn't mean jack squat, like just because like I had to do it. And then like things wouldn't go my way, so I'd just be like, I'll show you. So I'd go back and relapse. I lost my apartment, just a whole bunch of things, just the consequences just started getting out of control. So that was happening, let's see, from 30 to 34, 35, I was in and out of treatment, in and out of jails. I got arrested, went to jail. My oldest daughter, she was turning 18 that year and she was going to graduate high school. It was such a proud moment for a mom. And I was in jail at the time, and I was supposed to get out. I was hoping to get out before her graduation. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make it to her graduation. If I get out, I'm going to make it to her graduation sober. Then I'll get high after that. Like, let me just go there so that I can show up and not look crazy, not look, face sunken in. My collarbones look like you could eat a bowl of cereal out of it. Like, it was bad. So I was like, I'm going to make it to that. And then I got a job before that, was in treatment at the time, I was at Team Recovery, shout out to them, but I was there, I don't work a 12-step program, but I had a job, part-time job, and I was in group, and so I made it to her graduation, and then I know I was so proud of her, but my baby was so proud of me, like that, I actually showed up to her. So it was a really great moment. And then after that, I just didn't have the urge. The obsession had kind of lifted at that point, and my job loved me. I worked at Dave and Buster's at the time. So it was just a lot of good people I was surrounding myself with, and I just kept going and knocking little things out. I got an apartment in that year. I got my license in that year. I had 13 warrants out of 2 different states, in 5 different counties. I got those all done within that year. So like a lot of good things were happening for me, and I just knew then, like, I just can't go back. When thoughts or triggers do arise, I think about like what Erika used to like, opposed to what am I doing now, and how do I feel now, and where it could potentially lead me if I feed into those feelings or obsessions or emotions. Like I can't see myself ever going back to that life. Like I was at a point where I was helpless, homeless, starving, hopeless, and there's been times where I cried like, God, just let me get an apartment, or God, just let my kids call me and I'm not high, or I could hold a conversation with them. And so now when I look back, and I'm like, dude, I have all that stuff, like, and I'm just so proud of, if no one's proud of me, I'm proud of me, because I prayed for this stuff. So yeah, so that's my recovery story. I think the fact that that Thrive is like one of the leading places for peer support. Like that's it's not really a thing in other places. And I honestly like in treatment, I used to say like you got the facilitators, you know, like I love them all. Like they've seen me through my whole journey. But I'm like, you guys freaking get paid to share your story. Like it's crazy to me, you know. And then I had an epiphany. Like I literally lived through so much, been through so much from my childhood, and you know, being a teen mom, being incarcerated at a young age, and all the way up, and then I was a good mom then until I wasn't, and then just I had close to near death so many times. I just didn't know how to drug at all. So like I've lived through all these experiences that I feel that it wasn't for nothing. It couldn't have been for nothing. There's no way. You know what I mean? So like just having to for Thrive to offer this program and to offer the peer support you know, positions, you know, to do the community and to do, you know, the jails and the hospitals. It's just amazing to me that there's even opportunities out there for people to share their stories to help somebody, because it would be facilitators or like other people who's around, you know, case manager and recovery. I'm like, man, I didn't see my experience in them. But like I know a lot of people in Toledo. I feel like people have told me this, I'm not gonna boast, but they're like, Erika, you know, like people listen to you in group, you know, like what you share, you have a lot of good insight, and like when you walk in the room, it's just like a different presence, and it truly is, you know. So like I know that I have a voice, and I know that people will listen, not to be in a superior position, but like to help people grow and to learn, you know, could learn what I did, or just share my experience, and for people to be like, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it, because I was bad down, you know what I mean? I was down bad. So yeah, I had a public defender one time, and I kept bumping my head, kept recurring offenses and all this, and she's like, remember, Erika, people, place, and things. And I hated her so, because she kept making me go to treatment. I'm like, just give me the jail time, I'm not trying to go to treatment. So like, and you know, and she like, so what happened? And I'd be in jail. She's like, so what happened? I'm like, I don't know, I went over here. And she like, remember, I keep telling you people, places, and things. And I was just so defiant. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't understand it. And she couldn't break it down to me, because she was the enemy at that time. You know what I mean? So like, as I got through my journey and bumping my head, you know, trial and error, I'm like, oh, I can't hang out with people because those people are getting high. Addict behaviors to me is things, you know. So like, I just gotta stop the addict behavior, and then the places I can't go to this street over here because I know exactly what they're doing, hanging out and doing over here. So like, I had to learn, you know, from my mistakes and just grow. You know, I had to change everything. What is it? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And I had to learn that the hard way. So like, I'm glad I did though. I learned a lot of things. I mean, I knew like the surface things, like healthy boundaries, and the trauma-informed care, you know, like you're not a diagnostic, you're not a doctor. Like, and I know that I'm not, but like, I just know like limitations of what I can and cannot say, just like has me more informative of what my role as being a peer supporter would be. Yeah. I would tell them to just do it. Like, what's holding you back? Like, I feel like me, to just tell anybody else, like, you're not, this is not a coincidence. Your life was not on accident. What you've experienced, even your helplessness was not for nothing. And be strong and just do it. And it's awesome. And I can't wait to work in the field. So, yeah.